What's going on, workforce? Brian here, and today we've got information regarding Xbox Game Pass, Final Fantasy XIV, and a really great interview brought to you by Twin Defendant. I'll include a link in the description below of this video so you can go check out the article, give that article some love. That way they can get the clicks, because there's a lot of really cool information here and that we're going to cover. But first, obviously, I want to direct my focus and attention on the status of Xbox. While he does not have an official release date, while he says that him and Phil, they're still working hard to bring Final Fantasy XIV to the Xbox, and he hopes, and to quote, that he can stand shoulder to shoulder with Phil someday to really announce this platform. It does lead me to think that it might not necessarily be on the Xbox One generation due to just the language he's using here. So the other side of this is the Game Pass. Would they bring and be willing to put Final Fantasy XIV in Game Pass? If you guys haven't heard the news, Phil Spencer is bringing Xbox Game Pass to Japan and other countries like South Korea. I think this is a real big move for the service and the platform. But Yoshi P responds, I haven't really considered releasing Final Fantasy XIV on Game Pass. This is because Final Fantasy XIV itself is a subscription model game. Phil is very dedicated in his support for 14, and I truly appreciate his efforts and hope that one day Phil and I can stand shoulder to shoulder and create an opportunity for gamers around the world to enjoy Final Fantasy XIV even more. And my first real thought here is this should not be surprising to anybody. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't want 14 to sacrifice his business model just for the sake of an emerging games as a service connected through Xbox, most likely Ultimate. However, I would still suspect that there might be some kind of connection and tie-in with the service. Not that it would cover your subscription, but if you're playing and you have Xbox Game Pass, there might be some kind of crossover connection. We've seen this in regards to different video games itself, and I would bet that Phil Spencer, especially with it coming to Japan, is that that's something, especially as all the other Final Fantasy games are entering into Game Pass, that might just be more of a business-to-business deal, and maybe Yoshi P doesn't necessarily have that much say in it. However, right now we need to take it for his word, what he's saying, no Game Pass connection, and I'd like to know your thoughts on that. If you're a current Game Pass subscriber, what would you want? Obviously, I think the subscription, covering your subscription, would be a little much. I think that would be pretty epic, but if you look at what they do with Phantasy Star Online 2, every month there's some kind of in-game reward just for being a part of that service. It's a perk that you have to claim, and I just covered that over on Ginger Prime just the other day. Yoshi P goes on to talk about the next generation consoles, though, and this is where there's some information obviously regarding the Blades of Gunhildr and more, but let's go ahead and talk about next gen. And Yoshi P says, we are of course considering support for next gen consoles, but there isn't much that we can speak on right now. Regardless of the next generation consoles, that he stated many times, but we will continue to make an effort to provide as many people as we can the opportunity to enjoy Final Fantasy XIV, and I'm putting in the effort now as well. So they discussed back at Gamescom when talking about the World Visit system, but has there been any significant progress in the quest to reach or the tech to bring down the barriers between data centers? And anybody here, especially in North America, knows it would be really great to be able to play with Primal and Crystal. That way we wouldn't be separated by, oh, you picked a data center that we're not playing on. Yoshi P says, this would be a fundamental change in design to the game itself, the structure of Final Fantasy XIV, which would actually require a lot of time to achieve. However, they're continuing discussion and deliberation on this particular topic. The interview has a lot to offer here, guys. And so, he talks about what's going on, obviously, with the pandemic and how different teams are working remote and they're able to do this. And even recently, Square Enix announced that they're going to continue to work remote until at least sometime in May. However, Yoshi P says that they're actually still not really impacted from the development and operations teams with Final Fantasy XIV. However, the things that they are seeing slow down when it comes to it is the additional teams that they have that are outside of Japan that are working on varying graphic assets. I'm struggling with that word for some reason. And that's going to help maybe, or have to make them adjust their schedule in order to prioritize, obviously, the health of all those involved. This is really important. I'm very glad that they're putting health first as the main focus here. They go on in this interview to talk about, obviously, the latest patch 5.25. And honestly, I'm going to say, if you guys are interested in it, just go check out the article, give it a read. If you're interested in how and why they've decided to go this route when it comes 2, obviously the Relic, being that they're kind of handing you your first one, but obviously you're going to put a lot of time into upgrading it down the road. Curious as to your thoughts about all of this. Chris covered that recently in the patch notes and his quest to be able to find the guy to be able to turn in the quest and get the obviously the tools for his crafter and gather, and then obviously with the poetics being a nice, simple, easy entry point, but the real focus being completely narrative driven. Honestly, I can say that they have been really knocking it out of the park on a narrative level, and it seems like they're continuing to lean more and more into this aspect. Anyway, that's the news. I really want to get your thoughts on it. Personally, I hope that the game comes to Xbox One. I think that would be opening it up to more. I also am still hoping that the game would eventually come to Google Stadia. I know that's not necessarily a popular platform overall, but it is the fastest platform that is out there right now, at least until we see PS5 and Xbox Series X enter the market. So that's, maybe this is just kind of a thing like, okay, well, we'll wait and see. Overall, I cannot wait to see what they can do with 14 on a Series X and on a PS5. I think the loading speeds alone would be a vast improvement. I don't think it's going to change the overall game design when it comes down to it. However, still better performance, better frame rates, better resolution. It should be a good time, especially when you think about it. Maybe it's not going to be enhanced by the time this November or December rolls around for the next gen, but 6.0 will be falling next summer. So, sometime we assume from there. So, obviously, like I said, I'd love to know your thoughts, any and all, in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you're new here, we hope you hit that subscribe button. But if you're returning, thanks you beautiful workforce member. You guys are the best, and I really appreciate you being here. So, without further ado, I wish you the best of luck. Hope you guys stay safe out there. Love you very much, and I'll talk to you next time. Take care.